In this video, I'm going to show you how to lift shadows using the Shadows and Highlights adjustment tool in Photoshop. Hey, my YouTube, Photoshop, and photography family. Thank you for visiting my channel. My name is Everett Christopher, aka Photo Loco, and I have a tip for you today. Before we get started, please help me out and subscribe to my channel. It'll help me and encourage me to continue delivering high-quality content. I'm preparing this image. I'm going over some pretty insane editing and really kind of fine-tuning this image because I want to prepare it for competition. And I want to make sure that I balance out the lights and the whites and the blacks of the photo. And what I'm finding here is there are parts of the photo that could be lightened up a little bit and that are a little too contrasty. So this area right here, this area right here, and maybe a little bit on this side as well. And what you can do is use the Shadows and Highlights adjustment feature in Photoshop to balance out the photo. Now, as you know, in Lightroom, there are independent shadow levers that you can adjust. So this, for example, but I'm kind of organizationally anal, and I like to do as much editing in Photoshop instead of Lightroom. Okay, so anyway, in Photoshop, what you can do, first thing we're going to do actually is stamp visible. This is an option that's located under layer. If you go down, you'll see actually merge visible. So what merge visible does is it merges the items, the layers rather, that you have visible into one layer, like this. Now that's fine if that's what your intention is, but I like to preserve as many layers as I can so that I'm non-destructive. So instead, what you can do is go to layer, and while holding the option key down, select merge visible. You can also use the following keyboard shortcuts: for Mac, Shift Option Command E, and for PC, Shift Alt Control E. And instead of merging it into a single layer and removing the other layers, it will merge all the layers into a new layer. Okay, so that's step one. The next thing what you do to get into the highlights is go to Image, Adjustments, and then Shadows and Highlights. And here what you want to do is just basically push the shadows up. In my case, I'm going to push it up to about here. Let's turn my adjustment layers back on so we can get the visual impact here. And so this is kind of what we're looking at, right? Now, obviously, that's ridiculous. That's not what we want. What we want is to add a layer mask to this, invert it with Command or Control I, Command on a Mac, Control I on a PC. Then we're going to go to our brush. Okay, we're going to switch to a white brush, and we're going to gradually paint in these highlights so that we can balance this photo. So something along this effect, something along these lines, just removing the contrast. Could even do it down here a little bit. This is actually good too if you want to add highlights, believe it or not. If you want to accentuate highlights, you might be able to use it to do that, and I have in fact done that before on other photos. Okay, so let's take a quick look at a before and after, and as you can see there, that will lift the highlights, or the shadows in this case, to bring it a little more in balance and in tune with the rest of the photo on a contrast basis. Okay, and so after you've done your adjustments, let's say you're not happy and you want to lift even more, you can easily just duplicate the layer by selecting the layer and clicking Command J on your keyboard. Okay, and so that will give you a duplicate of the layer, and that will further lift the highlights. And then if you wish, you can go and make additional adjustments to that layer mask. Okay, guys, I hope that helps. Please subscribe if you liked what you saw today. Don't forget to click that bell for future videos, and we'll see you next time.